You are getting sleepy. You're going to like the video. You're going to subscribe. And you're going to turn on all the notifications so that you don't miss anything going forward. And you will be very sleepy. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jake. This channel is called Jake of All Trades, and today I'm going to be going back a little bit to an older Nemophila song called Hypnosis. Now from the comments on this one, it sounds like this one's going to be a bit different than the ones I've checked out so far. And I'm curious to see like what kind of creative things they do with this. I'm kind of imagining some sort of like flangey, phasery type riff or a lead guitar or something. Maybe some cool effects on the vocals. I don't know. Maybe some like hypnotic like visuals. Who knows? We'll I mean, you guys know. I don't know. But we're about to find out. I say we as if there's more than just one me. I mean, based on my videos, there's a lot of those. But anyway, I digress. Before I get started on this, I want to give a shout out to everyone who suggested this song. We have Beforez. Excuse me if I mispronounced it. Big Brutal Bass Beer, or Big Brutal Bass Beer, or whichever one you go with there. Carl Knapp and Zabri Abu Bakar with 2 votes. So we're going to do the music video and live version. And so without any further ado, let's get started. Okay, here we go. Hypnosis, official music video. Here we go. Oh, yep. Called it. Oh yeah. Ooh. I like this already. That deep bass, hypnotic guitar. Ooh, I like that scale choice. The visuals are awesome. That scale choice is awesome. That's the spinning. That's such a fun riff too. The gang vocals too are awesome. Where are we going? I wasn't expecting that. cannot wait to hear the live version of this. That transition is really neat. What an ending, too. 1 week later. All right, so apparently my computer can only handle like one reaction at a time. So it took me a while to get back to actually doing the live version of this, and I'm gonna have to record reaction videos on separate days instead of doing them in bulk. You didn't need to know that, but we're gonna get into the live version of Hypnosis by Nemophila. Here we go. Version. I was a little worried that this is going to just be studio audio over the top. We're all good. Like the stopping. That's awesome. Oh, I see they must have done different live clips right together. Okay. Love that riff. I like that bass transition. I still love it that they have everyone contributing to the background vocals. Drummer standing up. was awesome. All right, so I went through each of those versions a second time, bit by bit, to try and catch as much as I could between the two different versions. And I want to say right from the get-go that I was a little worried because there wasn't an official live version that this was going to be a situation where it was just live clips with the studio audio dubbed over the top of it. And I'm like, oh gosh, this is not another one of these. But it's not. There were definitely some differences that made the live version distinct, and it was like, okay, yeah, it's definitely live. Some of the things being that the guitar was scratchier sounding in the live version than it was in the studio. It was much more polished. You can hear some of the like little, I don't want to say mistakes, but like as they're playing, you can kind of hear like unintentional like harmonics hit, like with their fingers hitting the string. You can kind of hear a little bit of while they're playing, like just here and there as they're kind of doing their arpeggiated bits between the open, heavy dun 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 stuff. Plus, another thing that was a big tell was the live version definitely had the two guitars panned hard left and hard right, whichever way it is on your screen. Some other things that tipped it off was Mayo's vocals were definitely doubled in the studio music video version, and in the live version it was clearly one voice, and her voice was much more reverbed. You could definitely hear more of the room on her vocals, whereas she's well mixed in with the rest of the audio in the studio version. But you can, there's like a signature, I don't want to call it an echo, but it's like a large live room reverb in the live performance. So that was another tell. And then also the rattlier bass and drums, like the way that the kick kind of had that extra click to it instead of just like the thump of the bass. And same thing with the bass guitar, that there was a little bit more of high-end rattle to it, whereas it was a little bit more just the low, rounded off sound in the studio version. So that was another big tell. Another thing too that I noticed was that the mixing of the song, the studio version was just seemed to be mixed kind of quietly. And I noticed this, as you may have noticed, I'm not recording my reaction to the studio version and the music video version on the same day, because my computer overheated and I couldn't get the second one done. So I had to call it a little bit. Then we had a guest and had to tend to him for a week. So I wasn't able to get around to the second portion of this until, about a week later. But the song came on while I was driving, and like in the playlist, I had my volume turned all the way up on various songs, and it was beefy, loud for all the songs. And then when Hypnosis hit, I'm like, I can't hear this very well. It was just like so low in volume compared to all the other songs that were in my playlist. I'm like, that's kind of odd. And then listening to the studio version here again, and then comparing that with the live version's bass volume is way higher. So I'm not sure exactly what was going on with that. Initially, I thought I just had my audio turned down too low, but there's definitely a noticeable difference when you turn on two different songs, or even just the two different versions of the same song. So I thought that was kind of interesting as well. Another thing I noticed too, a difference between the live and the studio version, the drum solo that leads into the breakdown. I'm not a drummer, so you're not going to get a super deep analysis, but one of the things I did notice, I really enjoyed the drum solo with it. Tamu Murata, if I'm pronouncing that correct, the way she's doing her drum solo in the live version seems a little bit more irregular. She was very much like in time in the studio version, but it's almost like she was doing more like triplet or like irregular rhythms, like, quadruplet, quintuplet or sextuplet or whatever in that transition to the breakdown. But it was definitely noticeable. She went a little bit more off the cuff, but still stayed in the same vein as she did in the studio version, but you could tell she was like trying some things and just like, we're just gonna go with it, and I'm just gonna do what I'm inspired to do in the moment. So that was a neat thing too. And I think all of that added together, I like the live version more, though it's not as polished. Like I said, there's like some scratchiness to the guitar and whatnot, and some slight imperfections here and there, but I think that added extra character to the song. I think the big highlight for me too was right at the end when it transitions into the final riff. In the studio version, it's kind of like, you know, you've got the harmonized singing, and then you've got Mayu heavily band limited and very back in the mix, and then it's like it crescendos into her screaming into that final riff. And it almost sounds like white noise being like a riser leading into that riff, but in the live version, I loved how they did that. It was much more pronounced. Her vocals were much more pronounced. The crescendo was much more drastic. You could hear her scream, and the way that the rest of the band did the background vocals, and then the way her scream rises out and then leads straight into that final riff was so freaking cool. I love that so much. So far and away, I think the live version was the better version of the two, and I really, really enjoyed being able to do the compare and contrast here, as I was originally predicting, and I'm so glad I wasn't disappointed with this. Definitely a lot of hypnotic imagery, you know, the kind of sway, flowy, like spirals, and the eye and the thing going back and forth. Definitely to be expected. I'm glad they actually did that and didn't disappoint me with that. And then also one other note on the live version too is they were splicing together different shows. I really loved that live performance. That was fantastic. Those are the thoughts I have on this particular video. If you haven't already and you feel so inclined to, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment letting me know what Nemophila song you'd like to see me check out and react to and analyze next. If there's another band you want me to check out, also drop it in the comments. And if for whatever reason you want to see me do a guitar cover, vocal cover, or if you have any shorts ideas, again, drop those in the comments. If I do any of those videos, I'm going to give you a shout out in the video. And before I get going here, I want to thank Jonas S. for supporting me on Patreon. I really, really appreciate it. Oh, and one other quick announcement, as that wasn't the case when I started recording this video and is now the case now that I'm finishing it. Part of the YouTube partner program finally. So thank you guys so much for subscribing and watching these videos and getting me to this point. I didn't know that this would actually ever be a possibility. And so I'm very, very thankful to all of you that interacted with my video in any way, shape, or form. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. That is it for this video. Thanks again for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. God bless you, and rock on.